Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Gaurav Shekhar, and I'm the Program Director for the Graduate Business Analytics program here at UT Dallas. Very glad that you all could join us this morning. We are right here in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth area in a city called Richardson, but Dallas-Fort Worth, being a big metroplex, has a population close to 7 million people. We're right in the middle of it. It's bright and sunny here, but then, as you know, the Texan weather can take turns throughout the day. We are at least glad that our extremely hot days are kind of on the back right now, and they're not something that we're experiencing on a daily basis. But it's a fun place to be, and we are very excited because this is also week one of the new semester for us. A lot of you who are here on this call are exploring future options as to when to start a program, whether it is at UTD or not, and we'll take you through why we at UT Dallas could be a great choice for you all. The format of this webinar is very simple. I'll take the next few minutes, about 20-25 minutes, to talk about the program. And then what you can do is, as and when you have questions, just put them in the chat. And right after my presentation, I'll just go ahead and take all those questions. This session is being recorded, which means that everybody who registered for this session will receive a recording in case you want to go back to that later on. The first question is, why business analytics? Not even why business analytics at UTD, but why does the world even care about a degree in business analytics? It's not like it's the first tech degree. It's not the first STEM degree. It's not that business analytics or related things have not been there in the past, but why do organizations, why do academic institutions like ourselves, we care about business analytics and have a full-blown program in it? To really answer this question, we'll have to go back a few decades. We'll have to go to the 70s and the 80s, when IT and computers were something that just blew up in the space. You know, every small, medium business, of course, the large companies were using it in the past, but small, medium businesses, even homes, had personal computers. And in that age, the question was, okay, what are the systems that we'll be using? How do we store our data? What are the databases? So databases came up and systems were put into place. At the end of the day, why do we need a computer system? The simplest answer is to manage data. So it has always been about data. Now, a couple of decades of establishing those systems or figuring out what the best way to store provision data is, the next big question was, what do we do with all this? And that's where our leaders, again, they started looking at historical trends. They started looking at what our opportunities are. Where did we fail? How do we not repeat our mistakes? And how do we work on the strengths? And how do we work on things that really help us in becoming a better business? Now, while all that was happening, yes, there were statistical methods that were employed. There were different algorithms that were employed, or maybe even created at that point of time, that organizations started using. Really, the differentiator after a bit of time was who can more efficiently use these methods to predict how their future numbers would be. See, at the end of the day, it's a business of numbers. It's a business of being profitable. Now, whenever an organization has such needs, the first thing what they do is they will reach out to trainers, training partners, and ask them, come train our employees and let's make them productive in a certain area. That was a great way of at least getting ahead with their new need of analytics. But then the speed at which this need was growing, or the speed at which the consumer landscape was changing, and the need to really be ahead of your consumers' needs, which means that you really had to look into data very closely, very well, to figure out, to a high amount of certainty, point out why a customer will go a certain way or what will be the next trend. The speed at which people were being trained was much slower than the speed at which this need was growing. And whenever such a thing has happened, the industry has always moved to one place, academia. They've asked us to go ahead and do something so that on a regular basis, we have students, we have professionals who are coming out into the industry who are equipped with these skills. Now, when we talk about business analytics programs, it's not that they have been there for a long, long period of time. In fact, the first one that came in the US was the year 2007. So we are right in the, I would say, the early stage of the curve when it comes to a degree in business analytics. What's the good news? Companies are using more and more data to make decisions. It's no longer about the hunch that, okay, I feel this might be the course our profits or our business would take. It's more about, do we have data to prove it? Now, when the need is there, of course, sectors, whether it is your traditional companies or the ones which are high tech, doesn't matter. Oil and natural gas needs analytics, real estate needs analytics, IT computer science needs analytics. Tech companies need analytics. Everybody needs it. So technically, analytics can be, it can piggyback on any domain and any area. If there is data, you need analytics, as simple as that. The better news is for somebody like you who's trying to seek a degree in analytics is that if the demand is 100, the supply is 10. So there is a dearth of qualified analytics professionals, and if you get into this field, definitely you'll be ahead of the curve. But why us? Why UT Dallas? The number one reason is flexibility. Now, even though everybody comes into the program thinking that they want to become an analytics professional, we still give you the flexibility to tailor your experience. What do you care about? Do you care about certain areas in analytics? We do help you get introduced to them and then make your choice. We also are very keen on engaging students inside and outside the classroom because we feel that engagement is a necessary element of that full 360-degree experience that students have. And finally, whatever we are doing, what are the outcomes? We are very focused on what the results are, and we use those results as the basis for what we are doing in terms of, okay, let's go ahead and, whether we should continue on a certain path or not, or should we change the program? At the end of it, whatever we are doing in the program should help you as a student. Other reasons why UT Dallas and the MSBA program at UT Dallas, we are the largest business analytics program in the country. We have more than 800 students in the program across multiple modalities. There are students in the face-to-face program, there are students in the online program. We, in fact, just welcomed a new class of fall 21, close to 450 new students. And because we are the largest in the country, we also have a very expansive curriculum. I will show you some of the courses that we have, but it's like if you have to pick, let's say, 6 electives in the program, you have 70 choices to pick it from. And that is only possible because of our size. We are not a cohort style program where every student takes the same set of classes and they graduate. You take what works for you. We give you the guidance, we help you with the resources, but you choose. Despite the big size, our graduating classes, which for the last few years have been always in 300s, they still are hitting the $100,000. And this includes their base salary, any signing bonuses, any year-end bonuses. The first year compensation is about $100,000. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And when I say partnerships, these are people who are literally on our speed dials. How does it help you? Because when we call them to come to the campus to do a guest lecture, they're there. When we ask them to come for competitions, they're there. They are judges, they are sponsors of competitions, they sponsor scholarships, they hire students. When they have a need, they need 5 interns, who do they come to? Us. They need full-time professionals, who they come to? Us. We have a very solid advisory board as well, which has all these senior leaders from multiple different organizations who run billions of dollars of businesses. So again, a very smooth transition for our students to move from here to the industry. There's a very high return on investment with our program. And when I say high return on investment, I mean that because our students are able to hit those numbers post-graduation in terms of the salaries. Let's say you had to take an education loan for 100% of your education here at UT Dallas. Generally, an institution gives you 7 to 12 years to pay it back. Our students are paying it back in 2.5, 3 years, even lesser sometimes. That just say a lot about the kind of money our students are making. And again, UT Dallas as a whole is ranked #1 in the state of Texas in terms of return on investment. Our program happens to be on the top end of that list. In terms of internships, 550 to 600 internships were being pursued in the last several years. The average pay is about $24, $25 an hour, and that equates to what our students are making full time. Generally, the ratio is 2:1. You make $2 for a full-time job, you make $1 for the internship. So $24 equates to about $50,000, which is in line with what our students make once they graduate. It's not $50,000, they make $100,000 there on an average. There are 10 different tracks in the program. As you can see, accounting, analytics, healthcare, data science, data engineering, decision operation, marketing, social media, enterprise systems, financial, all of them are there. It's a 36 credit program. It's a STEM designated program. So if you're an international student, you have that extended ability to work on your student visa. 18 course credits, which is half the program, is core classes, which everybody takes, and then 18 credits of electives, 6 courses that you choose based on what you want to do. We would want you to go and maybe just check out our LinkedIn stories. So go and look for hashtag UTD-MSB, and you will see hundreds and hundreds of stories where people have talked about their internship experiences and what they're doing in those internships. And these are first-hand accounts, unmoderated first-hand accounts for you to know what exactly is happening in the program and these places that people are working at. Now, there are 3 different types of programs here. The Flex program, the main state-funded program that we have, which is the largest of the 3, has all the 10 tracks that you can take courses from. Most of the classes are face-to-face, maybe 10-15% of them are online. It is self-paced. All 3 formats are self-paced. And then you can apply for scholarships. And let's say you get one of our Dean's scholarships. If you're an out-of-state student, you get in-state resident rates as a benefit. The difference is about 2 times. So what a Texas resident pays, an out-of-state student pays twice. But then with the scholarship, you can reduce it to half. We have the cohort program as well, which has 2 tracks, data science and accounting analytics. Face-to-face, online, same way. The only thing is with our online program, everything is 100% online. So if you're a working professional or you're somebody who's looking for a completely online experience, then you can go ahead and you can apply for that. We've got scholarships up to $15,000 there that you can apply for. One of the components that we ask in our application is a GRE Gmat score. And we do have waivers available for spring of 22. Now, these waivers are not blanket waivers. It's not like that you just apply and you get it. When you apply, you request for a waiver. Our admissions committee will look at your profile and make that determination. Whether you get that waiver or not. But if you are a scholarship aspirant, then we will need a GRE or Gmat score. So GRE and Gmat is one thing. If you want a waiver, you can just email our advising team. Their email is listed on the screen right now. Transcripts is another thing we need. Unofficial would do for us to make decision. But after our decision is rendered, of course, you'll have to submit your official transcripts. Your resume, 1 letter of recommendation. It can come from a former professor. It can come from your supervisor, somebody who's worked with you, and a personal objective statement. So your essay, a 1-page essay would do, double space. Just talk about why you chose this program and then how does it factor in your future. If it goes beyond a page, not a problem, but we are good with 1 page. We don't waive any application fee. Being a state institution, we cannot do that. However, it is waived for any alum or a current student who's applying to the program. Deadlines are May 1, October 1, and March 1, depending on which semester you're going for. However, we do accept late applications. After the regular deadline, there will be a $75 fee, but you're okay to apply if you want to apply. As I said, application fee, including any late fee, is waived off for UTD alums or current students. For the Flex program, I take care of both Flex and online programs, but here are the details, direct phone numbers and email addresses. Sylvia Leventhal, who couldn't be with us this morning, but she's our program manager, and a lot of you probably would have interacted with her already through your emails. Now, one thing I wanted to talk here before I get to the questions is our degree program. So these courses that I've highlighted are the core classes. This is something every student takes. We talk about, so there are three things that any organization would ask you, or their analytics practice will be responsible for. What happened? What will happen? What do you recommend? What happened is descriptive analytics, and that is covered in our advanced statistics course. What will happen is our predictive analytics course. And then what do you recommend is prescriptive analytics. There is a flavor of econometrics, which is again very critical for you to succeed as a business analytics professional. What I'm trying to say is the flavor that you get in the program is something, and we do compare ourselves to other institutions, but nowhere else do you get this combination. On top of it, all these courses that you see, this giant list of courses is what are your electives. You can take all the courses from one track. You can take one course from 6 different tracks. It's up to you how you want to do it. You pick and choose. You don't have to declare any track. And again, whether you're doing this in person or online, your degree will read the same thing. Masters of Science in Business Analytics. It doesn't mention what modality you were in. A lot of times the question is asked that, do we need to have a technical background, coding background for this? Well, not really. If you have, so this is a quantitative degree. You want to make it very technical, you can do that. You want to make it a balance of technical elements as well as business principles, that also can be done. If you have some coding background, yes, for some of the courses, especially in our data science track and all, you'll have a certain edge. But if you don't have that background, not a big deal. In fact, some of our best students don't have that background. But when they come in the program, we provide them with resources, they put in that effort and they succeed. So again, there would be a learning curve for people who come with no background or have no experience with things, but we'll provide you the resources. We also have some things like Data Camp or Coursera that help you with some additional things. You want to learn stuff on your own, self-pace it, you can do that. Even experience is not required to be in this program. We have all sorts of people who come with no experience, people who come with some experience, and people who come with several years of experience. An additional thing apart from all these courses, and I'm going to put this in the chat. Feel free to have a look at this at your own time. One of the other benefits in this program is the ability to pursue a graduate certificate. And a graduate certificate is a combination of a few courses. It helps you get something in a very specialized area. Now, we've just introduced the graduate certificate in applied machine learning. We also have some others like BI and data mining, cybersecurity, enterprise systems, healthcare informatics, and applied machine learning is the new one. What you do is you can see that because it's a short program, it will have a set of courses. Now, just take an example. Advanced statistics is something that you will be taking in the business analytics program. While you take this class, you're also part of the certificate program, you will get dual credit. You'll get credit towards your degree, you'll get your credit towards the certificate program. Another way to look at it is, if you complete these 4 courses and you're part of the certificate program, and the average grade that you have is a 3.0, the GPA, you get this graduate certificate from the university. Depending on your residency, you might end up spending $10,000 to $20,000. But because you're a degree-seeking student and you're taking the same courses towards your degree as well, for you, the certificate is free. So in a way, you have the ability to maximize the value of money that you're spending at UTD and get multiple diplomas. And it's a graduate certificate from a state university, and hence has a lot of weight. So just a way for you to, maximize on the kind of academic experience that you have at UTD. Okay, so I think we can take some questions now. Are there any scholarships? Absolutely. The Dean's Excellence Scholarship is there for the incoming students. You can apply for it. Make sure that you submit your GRE scores, and your GRE scores should reach us by October 1st. The application should be open. In fact, let me quickly check that. It was supposed to be open around this time. I can quickly check it for you. Yes, so the application for spring is open at the moment. What are the academic requirements for getting a scholarship? Well, your scholarship essay is required. Your whole application package is required. GRE and Gmat is the starter for us. And why we use that is because, see, every university is different. We need something which is standardized, and GRE and Gmat helps us standardize it. But after that, we do look at your experience, your resume. Your scholarship essay is important. What are the requirements for the Dean's Excellence Scholarship? We just talked about it. Your GRE score is required, or your Gmat score, and then your scholarship essay. And there is a separate portal for that, the Dean's Excellence Scholarship, where you can apply. And this is all part of the Flex program. Just want to make that clear. Our Flex program is the one that has all the tracks and these Dean's Excellence Scholarships as well. When to start applying for fall 22? Well, the application is open right now. So you might just want to go ahead and put your application in. The application for the scholarship is not open yet, but it will be open soon in the future, in the next couple months. But you can start with at least your program application. I've already submitted my application for MSB without GRE as it is waived, but still in the to-do. So it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for them to reach out to you with a decision. But if it has been at least 3 weeks, send me an email directly and I will follow up with them as to why it is taking all this time. They may have already reached out to you, but if that has not happened, then I will reach out. Okay, I see a special track for operations, finance, etc., but there's no track that goes for HCM, people analytics. We get into so Supriya, again, when we talk about HR, business HR analytics, HR might also require, I mean, we may not have a very specific course that talks about just people analytics or HR analytics. And by the way, we work on our curriculum on a very regular basis. So there might be courses that may be coming up in that area pretty soon. But even if you want to work in the people analytics area, you will still need the knowledge of things like predictive analytics or descriptive analytics, or maybe, if you're going in the realm of machine learning, natural language processing, all those kind of things, they're still relevant to people analytics. And those courses are already available. Deep learning, for that matter, sentiment analysis, and that's all that is all that we teach already in the program. People do work. I know for a fact that there are students who work in the area of HR analytics, and again, the packages are in line with, anywhere from. So I would say the lower end of the tail would be at about at $80,000 to the higher end being about $100,000. And these are averages. These are not the minimum or the maximum. Ishang, is it necessary to have a coding background? Not necessary. If you have the passion to learn it, we will provide you the resources to do it, and you can do it yourself. Is UTD a tier 1? Yes, we are a tier 1 university. In fact, if you go to utdallas.edu, the first thing that they talk about is how we are tier 1 R1 based on the Carnegie Mellon ranking system. Rachel, I've completed an undergraduate degree in civil engineering and I wish to pursue MSBA. No, it would not. As I said, your background doesn't matter. We will look at what you've done in the past, but again, as I said, business analytics goes with anything, and it goes with any domain very easily. In fact, civil engineering, when I just talked about real estate and civil engineering to an extent, are loosely connected there. People are using a lot of analytics to do things. Space explorations, maybe the age of buildings, how the repair should work out, all those kind of things are heavily using analytics these days. So even if you are from a non-ITCS background, you still have domain experience that blends very well with the MSBA degree. In what least duration can one complete the program? What would be the fee in that case? That's a very good question, Neha. So this is a flexible program, which means you can finish the degree in 9 months if you want to. Now, we don't recommend that because that's a lot of courses you'll be taking in a semester. But the max that you have is 6 years. Nobody takes 6 years, by the way. Mostly our full-time students take anywhere between 3 to 4 long semesters, which is like 17 to 22 months. Now, the fee depends on a lot of factors. The fee depends on, do you have a scholarship? How many credits you're taking every semester? The more credits you take in a semester, the per credit hour fee goes down, and this is the flex program. Let's say you have a scholarship, and which makes you eligible for in-state tuition, your fee goes down with that too. Let's say you don't have a scholarship, but you get a TA-ship later on. When you become a TA, you get a monthly salary, which is about $1,000 after taxes, and you have the ability to pay in-state tuition for that semester. It's a semester-to-semester thing. But there are a lot of people who do come into the program without any scholarship, but with their hard work, they earn a TA-ship. Okay. Stephen, I'm a current MS accounting student at JSOM. Do I have to get into the MSBA to take some BA core classes? I'm interested to take advanced. Stephen, you don't really have to be in the MSBA program to take those courses. If you're already a student, all you have to do is just take those courses. Make sure that your program will count it towards the degree, and that's all you need. And by the way, since I mentioned it, in the MSBA program, in the essence of the spirit of our flexibility, what I showed you, all these courses, let's say there's a course in the School of Management or even in the university that is not in this list. You can take up to 2 courses, and we will count it towards your MSBA degree, which is outside of the program. Now, if the course is in the School of Management, you don't need any additional approval. If it's outside the School of Management, both the departments will have to approve it, but it's still possible, and our students do take advantage of that. What is the tuition fee? Well, as I said, it's flexible. It depends on a lot of factors. You can finish the program in as less as $30,000 to $40,000. It can go all the way to $65,000 as well. I have applied for summer already, so I have time to submit GRE scores. Yes, you do. Summer, the deadline is March 1st. Do you accept applicants with an engineering background with? Absolutely, Rachel, we do accept people. We accept people from all sorts of backgrounds. And as I said, some of our best students are the ones who have no prior coding, IT, computer science experience. Maybe that's because, when you don't have that experience, there is this you feel that you have to do more, and you end up doing more and you end up getting better results. Not saying that people who come with a ITCS background don't do well, they do well, but I'm just saying that that's the kind of trend that we've seen. Do you accept TOEFL or IELTS? We accept both. However, if the language of instruction in your undergrad institution was English, we don't need TOEFL or IELTS. We talked about the tuition fee. I'll skip that. Are applications reviewed on a rolling basis? Is there a priority deadline for spring and fall? Yes, we do accept them on rolling basis. However, what I would say is if the deadline, whatever is the regular deadline, is the deadline for these scholarships as well. And when I say scholarship deadline, it means that your official scores also need to be with the university by that day. Let's talk about spring, for example. October 1st is the deadline. Let's say that's apply somewhere as early as possible, by mid-September. If you are talking about fall next year, the regular deadline is May 1st. Don't wait all the way to May 1st to apply for a scholarship. Most of our fall recipients, I would say the chunk of it, they apply during Jan and February for a scholarship. Now, as far as the admission is concerned, that is separate. Till the time you are within the application deadlines, you're good. But scholarship is something tricky because you may want to apply early for that. Would Gmat be waived for fall 22? At the moment, we are not doing that. Do you accept applicants with an EC? Absolutely, Yogeshwar, as I said, any background is okay because every background has data and data needs analytics. I meant any domain has data and every domain needs analytics. Cyclone, what's the chances of getting an Admit and Dean's Excellence Scholarship with the 309 and 6 years of experience? Do you accept Duolingo? We do accept Duolingo. You need 105 on that, but as I said, you don't really need to submit an English proficiency score if the language of instruction was English in your undergrad institution. What are the chances? Well, I would say go ahead and apply. As far as the scholarships are concerned, our averages are 310 plus. So, by the way, there is no particular GRE or GMAT score that we can point out to and say this is the minimum, and we can guarantee you a scholarship. It all depends on the pool. If the average of the pool is high, then our ability to give scholarships to people will always be on the higher end of the scale. Now, this is not a bad profile, Kiran, and we don't just look at your GRE and make the decision. Sometimes there are people with low GRE scores, but they have a good profile. With or without experience, you can still have a good profile. And we look at your application holistically to make that decision. So a lower GRE doesn't mean a rejection, and a high GRE doesn't automatically mean acceptance. Once we look at all the elements of your application, that's when we decide. Is there a deadline to submit the GRE score for scholarship and apply for I-20? Well, those are two separate things. So scholarship, I just talked about how you should, if you're going for fall, make sure that you apply by Jan, February, or even worst to worst mid-March. Most of our students apply at that point of time. Okay, even if you apply after that doesn't mean that you won't get it, but I'm just saying that's a good time to apply for a scholarship. Spring 22, the application was just opened a few days ago, probably, so you have the next 2-3 weeks. October 1st is the hard deadline for that, so make sure that all your scores are there. Now, talking about I-20 is something you'll have to work it backwards, which means when you're arriving in the US, you need a visa. the visa appointments, sometimes are hard to get. So you need to at least have your appointment a few weeks before the time when you're flying to the US. Now, to make that happen, to get that appointment, you need an I-20. To get the I-20, an I-20 takes about 10 days to 2 weeks for the issuer. You need to submit your financial documents. So you have to work your timeline backwards. From the time you're entering the US, to enter the US, you need your visa. For your visa, you need your appointment. For your appointment, you need your I-20. For your I-20, you need your financial documents. So for every step, add 2 to 3 weeks, and that's how you should calculate when you need to submit it. Okay, I've already received my admission for Flex MSBA Spring 20. I'm just anxious as I have no coding. Dishank, you're not the first one who's coming to the program with no coding experience. And we, as I said, we have a lot of people who have done so well despite having no background. See, the program provides a lot of resources. What the program does is it lets you, it exposes you to a lot of different ways through which you can learn. And then those ways allow you to go ahead and, succeed. Now, let's say one way works for a student, it may not work for you. No problem, we'll expose you to something else. Maybe that'll work for you. If that doesn't work, we'll go with the third way. We have multiple streams and multiple ways to help you out. I do see a hand up. What I would recommend is, in the essence of time, let's put the questions in the chat so that we can read it out and, take care of as many questions as possible. We have about 20 minutes, so I'll try to cover all the questions that are out there. What are the number of seats intake for Spring 22? Well, again, the way we work out, we don't really have a fixed batch size. We have the ability to take as many students as possible. That's the way our model works. As I said, we have tons of courses that students can take. And that gives us the ability to admit more if we want to. On an average, we see about 300 to 400 students in fall. We see about 100 to 150 in spring, about 20-30 in summer. Now this fall, we've already are at about 440 students, and that could be also because of the fact that last year, a lot of students couldn't join us and they deferred. But we are still in that range of 300 to 400 for fall, 100, 152 for spring, and then 20 to 30 in summer. Shashank, Dean's scholarship results are announced on a rolling basis, or they are announced the whole list? So they are announced on a rolling basis. So the way it works is, let's say you submitted your application. If whatever minimum criteria they're looking for, if you make it, and then let's say they look at the rest of the application, they award you the scholarship, they will let you know. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks for them to get you back with the results. For whatever reason you didn't get the scholarship the first time, they looked at your profile. They don't tell you that you're rejected. They put your name back into the pool. And the next time when they come back to the pool, and the committee looks at the pool every 2 to 3 weeks. The next time again, when they looked at the pool, they see that, okay, you're whether you qualify this time or not. Sometimes there are students who've gone back to the pool multiple times before they eventually heard back from the scholarship committee. But towards, I would say, somewhere early December, the first 10 days is when they have a hard cutoff. By then they would have announced all the results. And if you didn't get it by then, and this is for spring, if you didn't get it by then they will simply let you know about the denial, if in case you didn't get it. I've applied, Bhargav. I've applied my I-20 on August 6th. Until now I didn't receive it. I submitted all the documents, showed. How much time does it take? It takes about 2 to 3 weeks sometimes, Bhargav. What you can do is you can send an email to isssoprospective@utdallas.edu. It's one word, isssoprospective, and that can be used to see what's going on with your I-20. Send that. If you don't get it within a week, send me an email and I'll follow up. We need to get Toefl or Ielts. We don't need either of them if the language of instruction was English. But if that was not the case, then either will work. You need an 80 on Toefl, a 6.5 on Ielts minimum. Duolingo is 105. Do we get CPT after 9 months in the program? Divya, no. You get CPT once you finish 18 credit hours. So you can pursue an internship after 18 hours. Now you do those 18 hours in 1 semester, 2 semesters, 3 semesters, it's up to you. Well, as an international student, you won't be doing it in 3 semesters, but that's the point there. There are students, let's say you're a spring student. You come in spring, you even take classes in summer, and you are done with 18 credits by end of summer. Fall, you're eligible for an internship. If we did not have this requirement, you may have had to wait for summer, your spring. Summer doesn't count as a long semester, the whole of fall, and then only next spring you would be eligible. Now you can still do that. If you don't plan to take any courses in summer, then you'll complete your 18 credits in spring and fall, and then next spring you become eligible. But what I'm saying is that you have control over how quickly you can become eligible for CPT. 18 credits and we are ready to approve you. What's the approximate living expense for a student in Dallas? Well, this is, again, it depends on your lifestyle. Mostly we would say, I would say that our students would spend anywhere from $400 to $700 a month. It's a lifestyle thing. If you have more expenses, it can go up from there. But that's what we are seeing. And that includes your rent, your utilities, and then this university also provides a lot of support. Like we have something called the Comet Cupboard. Now everybody at UT Dallas is a Comet. So you have something called the Comet Cupboard where they give you 3 items for free on a daily basis. So that also brings the cost down, the food cost. There are so many events that has food, that brings the cost down. Living, you can share an apartment, that brings the cost down. So, but 400 to 700 is what we have seen for the last few years. I applied for I-20 a week back, and I know how long it takes. About 2 to 3 weeks. I'll have to give that time to them. Thanks for the, do you accept? Yes, Durga, we do accept Duolingo. 105 is the minimum score. But as I said, if your language of instruction was English, we don't need it. What's the maximum duration for processing an application for String 22? The admissions team takes 4 to 6 weeks. That's the maximum. Generally, it is 2 to 3. Approximately what percentage of students get scholarships? Now that depends. Again, the decisions for the scholarships are not taken at the program level. They're taken at the school level. And if there are more students who are eligible, then they get it. I would say between scholarships across the semesters, assistantships, about 70 to 75% of our students do get some kind of assistance during the program. So TA and RA positions are only available, mostly it is teaching assistantships for graduate students. They are available from your second semester. We need your UTD GPA. We also need you to take courses for which you will become a TA. So the first semester is not possible. However, you can start an on-campus job on day 1 of your first semester. And we use a portal here called Handshake in which we post all these jobs. You can simply go there and apply. If I submit my GRE scores by second week of October in order to get a scholarship, would that be considered, since you said October 1st is the deadline? So we'll need it by then. Do we need Ielts? We talked about this. How many credits can we complete in summer? Well, it's up to you how many you want to take. We don't recommend more than 6. 9 is sometimes when students do. Anything above 9 requires an approval. But don't take more than 2 courses. 2 is also a lot, but it's a short semester. Fall and spring are 16 weeks. Summer is 11 weeks. So a shorter semester quickly goes. You might want to not take too many courses. Oh yeah, we do offer a lot of internships. I mean, in fact, I would say most of the internships that students get are through a connection that they made here in the school through the program. And we bring in employers for, you get a lot of face time with them. Sometimes we are exclusive institutions for them for any of their hiring needs. So there are multiple ways through which you can get that internship. It's a shared responsibility as well. You as a student have to do that. We will also support you from this program, from the school, from the university. What roles can students get after the MSBA program? For that, what I would recommend is looking at this link that I'm going to post. So if you look at our career outcomes, that is our full-time placement and then our internship numbers. And these reports are right there. So go ahead and look at it yourself, what exactly we do. But talking about some of the roles, data scientist, data analyst, BI analyst, data engineer, a lot of data related, business analyst, project manager, and technical lead. Lots of different roles that our students can get into. Do you accept transcripts issued in 2016? Absolutely, we do. Approximately how many in scholarships? As I said, that number depends on how many applicants are there, and it can differ for the program. Very excited to join analytics program in Jan 22. Thank you, Prerna. We look forward to seeing you. My admission offer mentions a prerequisite 1 credit. Yes, so everybody is required to take the 1 credit professional development course in the first semester. This course talks about the American, the corporate scene in America and how you can really succeed there. It is a mandatory course if you have not had any experience of working in the US. Now, if you are somebody who has that experience and you have worked at least for 2 years here, then you can get a waiver. And this 1 credit doesn't count as part of your 36 credits. It's technically the 37th credit. What's the average Gmat score needed for a scholarship? Well, I would say the higher the better, but at least I would say go for something close to between 680 and 700. That's the least. But again, as I said, depends on the pool. If the pool has the average Gmat for the pool is higher, then that's what we go with. I am an international applicant. How do I evaluate my academic credentials? Please don't do any kind of VES evaluations or anything else. UTD will do it for you. All you have to do is just submit your transcripts and we'll take care of the evaluation. There's a $50 fee that we charge, and that's much lesser than any of the other evaluations that you can get from outside. So just submit your transcripts. That's all we need. What is the procedure students need to follow if to join? Actually, I need approved. Well, again, this is something that you'll have to talk to your provider first of all. UTD right now is providing vaccines to students if they want one. We cannot mandate vaccination. We strongly recommend it. But even once you are here, every corner of the university and around the university now has provision for getting vaccinated. If you have questions about the vaccine and you want to know that, you can contact our student health center to get their advice as to what is accepted, but they also will send it back to your health provider. Can you please advise if we have to select flex or cohort for 520? Well, you get admitted in one of the programs, either flex or cohort. The flex is the one which has all your 10 tracks. The cohort has data science and accounting analytics, of course. And again, on the I-20, it's the same thing, but you have to select the flex or cohort before. Now, if at a later point of time you want to change the program, that's okay. But it's a more complicated process to change your program as opposed to you just simply applying to the one that you want. But if you want to change it later, you can. Spring is about 100 to 150 students that join the program. I actually applied for the course for fall. I have even issued my I-20, but I deferred to spring. Do I need to submit all my financial documents? Again, well, if you have deferred and your financial documents have expired, I think they accept anything which is under 6 months. So if they have not expired, you can apply for a spring I-20. You'll have to apply for another I-20 since you have deferred. We are excited to have you here as well, Karthik. I'll see you soon on campus. How much time does it take to get scholarship after applying? Well, as I said, if you're right there and you get it, you meet all the criteria, they will tell you in 2 to 3 weeks. If not, they will put your name back, and every 2 to 3 weeks, they will evaluate your profile. If you're talking about spring, the final this decision, whether it's a yes or a no, is given by the second week of December, I would say, by that time. For fall, the same thing. They will put your name back all the way until, I would say, mid-May. And then mid-May, they will come back to you with the results. Does assistantships make your fee in-state as it done? Yes, it does. It's a semester thing. Whichever semester you're a TA, you get in-state. Do you know if this is open for an upcoming string? It's not always available. Well, 6359 is a core course of the business analytics program. So it will be open in spring, for sure, Stephen. What kind of business management roles can you get into? Well, again, what I would recommend is look at the career outcomes or the internship reports. And we have actually put, in fact, you know what? Why am I saying that? Let me just show you what we have here. So if you look at these reports right here, talk about companies, what kind of titles, and then for each company that our students went to, what were their titles? This should get you a good idea about what our students are doing. See the difference, the similarity in the flex and cohort is, yes, it's the same number of credit hours. It's the same core classes. The difference is majorly, the offerings. You have 10 different tracks, almost 70 courses from which you can pick what courses you want to take in the flex program. In the flex program, you also have, for the same course, there might be multiple instructors and you can pick and choose which one you want to go with. Cohort, you have that limitation. You will have, fewer classes offered. They will offer it from fewer tracks. Data science and accounting analytics are the only 2 tracks, whereas you have 10 of them in the flex program. So there are more choices in the flex program to pick and choose your coursework from. Okay, well, I think I covered all the questions that you guys had. Well, again, the number of scholarships all depend on the number of people who are coming into the program. So of course, since fall sees more people relative to spring, there are more scholarships in fall, but that doesn't mean it's a proportional thing. Right? The proportion kind of remains the same, the number of students that get the scholarship. Well, with that, I think, again, folks, if you have questions, you can simply reach out to us. I'm going to put this contact link here. It has my and Sivia's contact details. Help you with the Flex program. If you want to go 100% online and you have questions, you can reach out to me as well. But this recording would be shared, and we look forward to your applications, to your questions, and of course, seeing you here at UT Dallas in the coming semesters. You all have a great rest of your day, a good weekend, and I think we will connect with you soon. I do see there is a question there. Is there a, well, when you say, is there a waiver for data science? There is no program called data science that we are talking about. This is the business analytics program. One of the tracks is data science. You don't have to declare any track there. So the waiver is for the program. And yes, if you apply, you can get that waiver. We do have that for Spring 22 applicants, but there's no guarantee that you will get that waiver. It all depends on your undergraduate profile. So the committee will get back to you in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks to tell you whether you qualify for that waiver or not. Amir, so if I live in Texas, I'll take this last question. If I live in Texas for 1 year, will I be able to get the state residence or paying the? I mean, it all depends on what visa you have. Now, let's say somebody comes on a student visa in F1. You can stay here forever on F1. And I mean, provided that you're getting that extension on F1, you will never get that residency. However, if you're on a work visa like an H1 or an L1, then you need 12 months of residency in Texas to become a resident. If you are a US citizen or you're a US permanent resident, then also you need 12 months of residency here in Texas. So that should get you the Texas residency. So let's say you're a US citizen living in California, move to Texas, stay here for 12 months, and you get it. I hope that answers your question, Amir. Oh, yes, we do accept 3-year bachelor's degree. I am so glad you asked that question. Yes, we do accept 3 years degrees as well, 3-year bachelor's degree. That's a plus here to apply to UTD to our program. But yeah, go ahead. I mean, the flex program or the online program, whichever appeals to you. Well, thank you everybody again, and thank you for all your questions. Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you here at UT Dallas soon.